Saturday daytime, I did a gong show.
Yes, you did.
And I was hungover because it was my mate's birthday party. And
Lad.
yeah, geezer. And turned up there like hungover. It's like 3 p.m., which is a weird time for a fucking it's a weird time for a gong show. So I pulled up. And again, this is why I hate doing gong shows, because like now we're like the most experienced people at gong shows typically. Like there's a couple other people.
Which makes it worse when you don't win.
No, I didn't even get through.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's like a couple comics that I know that are like similar times, but like a lot of people are there like 6 months or whatever, a year. And I'm like 3 years. So I'm like hungover in the back, and I'm like, cool, they seem like a decent crowd. I mean, it's not great, but it's whatever. So I'm like, I'm gonna get up there. And I'm trying to, me and you have had a lot of conversation. I'm trying to like just be a bit more unapologetic on stage, right? So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going straight in with the fucking shit that I think's funny. I'm not going to try and do the whole like, oh, like me at the beginning, you know? So I get on stage, do my first joke, which is the joke that you like. It does pretty well. Gets nothing. So I go, oh, I thought you were going to laugh more at that. And that gets like a chuckle or whatever. My next joke is about me eating pussy, okay? And I'm again changing up the thing. I used to kind of be like a bit like goofy, like, oh yeah, pussy eating, but I'm trying to be a bit more like unapologetic. So
I love how you did the rapper hand.
Yeah,
like, I'm trying to speak to these kids.
I'm trying to represent.
Yeah.
So I my new kind of opening line with the pussy eating joke is just like, I'm amazing at eating pussy, right? Because you know I lie on stage. I don't know. I'm trying to be like, you know, I'm trying to just fucking, you know, NWA.
Yeah.
Arabs with attitude. No, I'm trying to just do my thing. So I get to the joke and I'm like, yeah, I'm amazing at eating pussy. Instantly, a gay guy in the front row raises his like fucking, it's meant to be like a card, which is basically to eliminate you from the competition, but it's dildos at this one. So he raises this fat double-sided dildo and just shakes it around. And I was like, yeah, of course you fucking are gonna hate that joke. It's about eating vagina. You don't eat vagina. That gets like a chuckle. And then anyway, I don't survive.
But even that only, like, that annoys me. Even that only getting a chuckle. That's should
funny,
get a
man.
good laugh.
Yeah, that's fucking funny.
That's really like, for a gay guy to card you off on a joke about eating pussy and then for you to clap back and be like, well, of course you hate that joke.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But to get like a...
People don't like me. I've tried to tell you this. People don't like me on stage. People probably don't like me behind the camera. But people don't like me for whatever reason. You know, I can't see it. I think I'm pretty cool.
It's weird though. Not to hijack your story, but I do find that weird. Because you've said that to me before. And then having watched you, I get it. Like I don't get why, but I get that it happens.
Oh, okay.
No, not like I've watched you. Like, I get it.
You're really dislikable.
Yeah. No, as in having been in rooms more, because I've been trying to watch your sets more, and having been in the rooms more, I'm noticing when you describe it, I'm like, oh yeah, I do get the feel that they don't like him, but I don't know why though.
I don't know why. Because I'm not even like fucking...
But I think it's because you give Love Island vibes. I've said that to you before. I think it's because you seem like, you know, you're a little mixed race guy, you're decent looking, you got a little short back and sides haircut, you speak like a bit of a geezer, you know what I mean? You look like someone who's going to fuck them over, you know? You're either going to fucking steal their girlfriend or you're going to sell them shit windows.
I thought you say steal their girlfriend or steal their car. Yeah. No, people don't like me, man. But yeah, so anyway, I get gonged off, which is, again, embarrassing because I'm probably the biggest veteran in the room. And I don't even...
Veteran?
No, my God. Okay, that was fucking...
gong show.
But you know what I'm saying.
Veteran?
You know what I'm saying, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But
I'm the longest guy. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm the biggest
I hate myself for saying that. Okay. This is why people don't like me.
I'm the biggest... And the thing is, I'm finding it weird because I'm the biggest veteran in the room.
We're gonna have to
How many tours did you do of Vietnam in the comedy scene, dude?
I have been bombing. All right.
Oh, that's true as well.
I hate myself.
Yeah.
I would actually really like if you cut that out because that was a cringy thing, but it's fine. It's cool.
I'm definitely not cutting it out.
I know. That's why I'm moving on.
I'm the biggest veteran.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm the longest going. How would you fucking word it? What is the thing I'm trying to say?
I've probably been going the longest.
Okay. I've probably You made it look easy as well. That
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd fumble for a word there.
No.
You were just okay. I'm just a cunt. So yeah, it's horrible. I've been gonged off. I've been going the longest in a room, right?
Yeah.
And as there's like judges on the stage, and they're like, you know, basically breaking down how shit I am, and the gay guy and his friend in the front row are just like, having a conversation,
Yeah.
and I can't hear them and I can't read lips, but I can tell. You know when you know what someone's saying.
100%.
They were doing this.
For the
audio listeners, they're basically talking about how much they hate me visibly. And I'm hungover and I'm a veteran, okay? And I have just been gone.
You stand when a veteran enters the room,
do you know what I mean?
But you're not raised right.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was pretty horrible.
Thank you for all those bombs you just dropped.
Yeah.
On the unsuspecting victims
But
in the audience.
What is it, man? Come on, you know me well enough. Why do people hate me just at a first glance? It can't just be the Love Island thing.
Do you know what I think it is? I think it's the Love Island thing.
And my jokes.
And your jokes.
Yeah.
No, not that your jokes aren't good, but your jokes, because your jokes are not arrogant, but they're confident and they're kind of cocky-ish. I think they might look at you and judge you. But then if you opened up with something that was really like self-deprecating or like that people wouldn't expect from you, they'd probably lower that. But I think because they look at you and they already go, okay, tight t-shirt, haircut, beige, like they look at you and they go, yeah. You got that good looking beige guy thing going on.
Okay.
So they look at you and they go, okay, he's like ambiguously fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're a good looking guy.
Yeah, but I don't.
I'm autistic.
No, it's not because I'm autistic, dude. It's not. But it's like, I think that's kind of you to say, but I think it's because I don't look as fuckboyish. Like, I think...
No, you don't.
You could make the argument...
So what do I have to just grow my hair out and fucking wear worse clothes?
I think... It's really funny because I actually don't... I can't 100% put my finger on it, but I think it's because they have I used to have this sometimes where I would go on stage and I would be like, oh, they fucking hate me. And I would feel like the audience hates me. Dude, I had someone come up to me after a show once and I had a great set. And after I came off stage...
What does that feel like?
I try and describe it, but you'd never understand.
Yeah, it's like the Messiah all over again.
Yeah, exactly. I can tell you about it, but you'll never really understand it. But I had a great set, and then I came off stage, and I was having a cigarette, and then after the gig, someone in the crowd came up to me, and they were like, well done, that was really funny. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. He goes, when you came on stage, I absolutely hated you. And he was kind of drunk. He was like, I absolutely hated you, but you proved me wrong, and you were really funny. Well done. And I'm like, all right, dude, thanks. Like, that's such a weird way to compliment someone. Like,
yeah,
I don't like you now. Man. So, yeah, I think it's just that people look at you and they think, and I used to go on stage and be cockier with my material, but I think...
but you are unapologetic with your material.
I am.
And that's why I've tried to lean into it, because I'm like, maybe I just need to be less like fearful of the response.
Yeah, but do you know what I think it is though? I think the difference is, because I've been
You're white.
No, it's not that I'm white. I think it's the fact that when I go on stage, I've been analysing this recently. I think it's that I am unapologetic with stuff, but I kind of breach it in like a goofy kind of, I'm like, I've been thinking, I know you mean, but fucking, wait, just, you know what I mean? Because also, if you think about it like that, then that is that. I know, dude, I know, but I mean like a little bit, you get it?
You do that
And I think the trepidatious kind of way that I do it, that's just my style that works for me.
But that's how you talk though as well. Like, that is how you actually conversate with people.
Yeah, and how you conversate with people is like, yeah, but if you do that, you're a fucking loser.
Yeah. So what should I just quit then? Like, I'm not going to get...
I mean, all the signs point one way.
I'm saying, like, no, but it's just annoying as well, because like the few times I have actually done well, which I can count on one hand in 3 years of comedy. No, the few times that I have actually like leveled out a room, like this is genuine. Like this is me being really sad and honest. Yeah. No, but a few times I've done really well. It's generally in a room where it's like people are loose and they're not prejudging and they're having fun and they might be a bit drunk or whatever. And then when they listen to the jokes without having like a preconception, it seems to do like you've heard a lot of these jokes do really well.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's like
I've seen those jokes murder.
Yeah,
but that's why.
I just need to find out a way to get to the jokes without them being like, nah, fuck this guy. Yeah,
the hit rate is too low. Like the jokes have the potential to kill, but then the amount they kill is
less than 25%. Honestly.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Though,
it is weird
because you've got like a couple of jokes that could easily make people dislike you.
Yeah.
But I mean I've probably seen them hit like 75% of the time, maybe even 80, 90.
Yeah.
Whereas like mine are, you know, in a similar vein. It's not like I'm fucking going up there and just shouting racial slurs. Like, it's the same kind
That's
of...
my set. You don't want to steal my material.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's the same kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if I need to fucking...
When you write your stuff, do you feel like is there any part of you that tries to be as edgy as possible?
No.
Interesting.
No. Why? Are you doing that?
No, absolutely
No,
not.
'cause
I'm saying, I was asking if you do it because of the reactions that you're getting.
No, I'm just genuinely writing down something that I think is funny, and then
you know what? Not to cut you off, but I just had a thought. Do you know what would be really interesting? One time, it would be interesting for me to, when you're in the room, for me to do one of your jokes that typically doesn't land and see if it.
Yeah, but if you do that and it kills. No, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I'm fucking dead serious. I will kill you, and then I will kill myself straight after. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I will murder both of us in the same day. I will kill you, and then I will kill myself. Because that's basically like...
That's someone fucking your girl in front of you.
Your jokes are funny.
Yeah.
Your face makes people sick and they hate you. And I've had people say this before. Like, I remember I had a comic say this to me before. It's like a really lovely female comic and she's really like talented and she's doing really well. Yeah. And she goes to me, I don't know what it is, but like your jokes deserve more. She's like, they're funny objectively, but for whatever reason, they don't do that well. And I remember going home that night and being like, oh, that was really sweet of her to say. And then I was like, but why? Why? Is it my face? Is it my fucking like... And I've got the fucking ambiguous thing going. I should be getting more leeway than you. You're a tall white guy.
Yeah, you really should.
You should be getting instant hate.
I should. But I think... I don't know. I think...
Let's do that, genuinely. Next time we do a gig together, drop one of the jokes that I struggle with to like get to hit. And I want to see.
Okay,
because
dude, I'm so excited.
If I some like behind the scenes for the page,
I'm so excited because if I really want it to kill,
no, you don't. You don't, because I'll lock this whole thing off.
Like the joke that you open with, the one that I really like. Yeah, that's the one I'll do.
Yeah,
because I love that joke.
That one's like an easy sell as well, man. That's not even bad, is it?
Yeah, but that's why it's weird that it doesn't hit all the time.
The pussy in joke is, again, it's not like I'm fucking... Yeah. It's not bad.
The thing is, if I do your opening joke and it's killing, and I will immediately look to the back of the room to find you and make eye contact with you, and I'll
already have a rope around my neck already. By the time you get out the last syllable of that joke, I will already be hanging from something.
I've got 2 gigs tomorrow night. I'm going to run your joke.
Oh, my God.
You're not going to be there.
Wait, what spots you doing?
I'm doing the Cav.
Nah, I ain't coming to that.
Yeah. Do you want to be there when I do it?
Yeah, I kind of... No, but if you film it, I don't care.
Okay.
It's probably better if I'm not there because...
No, but I want to see... I have to... Because the thing is, I know that when I come off stage, I want to go up to you and be like, dude, they could have just been the room.
Well, when are we next at a spot together?
Wednesday, maybe?
I'm doing a show somewhere else, but I'm going to try and swing by after. So unless you...
Where else? We don't really gig the same place.
Saturday mode?
Yes.
Let's just do Saturday mode.
Let's do it Saturday mode.
I'll come mode on Saturday.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because there's a lot of bridges around there as well, so it's handy. I haven't got to go too far. No,
would it actually really fuck with you?
No, it wouldn't.
Because I feel like
it would help me.
If I feel like if it was the other way around and I was bombing and my material would occasionally hit, but I wouldn't know why, and you did it and it worked,
it would validate.
It wouldn't actually take away.
No, I hear you, because I do believe in the joke.
Because I would go, oh, okay, it's my presence, it's my delivery, it's whatever. That's workable. Is
it though?
Yeah, because I actually think it's if I go up and do your joke and it doesn't do anything, and let's say, and I'm not saying like, oh, if I'm the ultimate test, like if it doesn't kill with me, it's not going to kill. But I'm saying, let's say hypothetically, we're in a good room with a good crowd, I'm having a great set, and I'm killing. If I then do your joke and it doesn't work, partly, obviously, it's your joke, so I won't, it could be a myriad of factors, like it's not mine, or they don't feel the authenticity, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if I do your joke and it doesn't kill, or it completely dies...
Just do my joke about being half Egyptian, half Irish.
Exactly. You can't tell, guys, I'm really pale, but I'm actually half Egyptian. But if I'm having a great set, and then right in the middle of it, it's just kill, 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 Ashley's joke bombs, kill, kill, kill. That to me is worse because that's like, oh, your joke is shit.
Yeah.
But also,
I know the joke's not
I
shit,
also
'cause
know
I've
the
seen,
joke.
I've done it in a load of rooms and it's murdered.
And I also know the joke isn't shit.
Yeah.
It's a great joke.
Yeah,
But
thank
that's the
you.
same with a lot of your jokes. They're great jokes.
Yeah.
But I think I'd be really interested to see that.
No, I think we should run this experiment.
100%.
Every time we gig together, you should do one of my jokes, a different one every time.
Yeah.
And see how it... Because then I can observe it and be like, okay, he's saying this differently, or he's prefacing this, or he's pausing here, or he's adding this.
Yeah. No, I'll do that.
I'm just biting your flow.
I'll take you under the wing.
That's cool. I'll be your ghostwriter, innit? Don't worry. It's all right.
I'll take you under the wing.
No, but honestly, if it carries on like this, I'm going to quit comedy in the next year, and you can have the best jokes I have. You can have the two good jokes.
I'm all right, thanks. But,
you can have the two good ones I have out of the fucking hundreds.
I'm good, man, but thanks.
No, but see, genuinely, this is genuine now. Like, the reason why I don't want to quit.
Sorry, I was looking at your face when you said that.
The reason why I don't want to quit,
yeah,
because I never quit. That's why I didn't stop smoking. No, genuinely though, the reason why I don't want to quit is because
You've got nothing else.
Yeah, because you know, yeah. Do you know what?
That little voice in the back.
You better be a fucking good friend to me, because if I actually do it one day, you're gonna look like a real bad guy.
No, they'd be like, he was the only one that loved him. They'd be like, Ollie's the only reason he hung on so long, you know? Yeah, exactly. Now Ollie's the reason he's swinging, you know?
No, I can't quit now because I know there's something inside of me. I've got something burning inside of me, so I need to get good at it. Yeah.
Sorry, go on. I won't interrupt. Go on.
No,
you can't quit because you what?
No, because I like now it's like I have to make it work. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like I have to make it work now. Because if I quit now, it's like I was just a loser that did comedy for a few years, and it was like, yeah, you know, he had a couple of good jokes, but he couldn't make them work. Whereas like if I turn it around, if I turn this bitch around, and I become like the best, like. Next level?
Yeah.
What a fucking story.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
What a redemption arc.
An underdog story for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's what I'm fucking going for.
No one believed in him.
No one.
No one liked him.
No one.
He didn't like it. He didn't even like himself.
Didn't ever like myself.
And
hated
somehow,
myself.
And somehow, through literally God only knows what.
Just fucking grit.
Because no one saw it coming. They thought there's no way, you know, this could ever happen.
Yeah.
And
zero talent, zero charisma.
Yeah.
Zero likability. Why the fuck did I just high five you on that? Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Nah, but I'm gonna make it happen, baby. We're gonna make it happen, and if not, just watch out for the memorial post. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Get a couple of likes on that bad boy. I'll share that around.
I bet you fucking will. You don't share my clips though, do you? You fucking scumbag.
No.
I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it happen, man. I'm gonna make it happen.
I know you are, but also to be fair. To defend my case a little bit, I feel like your biggest champion. I've been saying to you for months and months, I'm like, dude, I feel like once you stop doing this and you stop doing that, like you're hilarious. You're hilarious off camera or off stage. Once you figure out how to translate that to stage, you'll be a fucking monster.
You have been doing that, but now I'm wondering if it was just for the room.
No.
Just get in the pod room. No,
don't look too closely at that.
No, yeah. No, you've actually been pretty good, to be fair. You have been a good.
It's because I believe in you. It's because I believe in you, and you are fucking funny. You make me laugh all the time. And then there's this weird thing that happens where when you get on stage, or less now that you've kind of been transitioning your style.
But it's so tough because I'm getting so many less laughs now. I've done that because your thing before was like that. I was doing the bits and they were working more because I was like almost playing a goofy character, and goofy guys get away with more because it's like, I guess they seem more innocent or more harmless or whatever. Like, oh, here's the thing about eating a bit of cunt, you know? Yeah. Whereas like, that's not how I talk. I would say, I fucking love eating cunt. I love eating pussy. It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing since sliced bread, whatever. That's how I would say it. And you were like, it's working because you're like masking autistic. Yeah. You're masking as like this fucking, goofy, weird, off the beaten track guy.
Yeah.
But that's not you. So when I'm watching you, I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe you're a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 now.
Yeah.
But if you can get that good writing and encapsulate your like true fucking personality, you could be a 10.
100%.
Which is
that's what I noticed in the last month, where since we had that conversation, and I was also in a down point comedy wise, and I was still like, I was doing like sets were generally going well, but I didn't feel like it was clicking or moving the way I wanted it to. And then I had that realization, and I think now I've really understood my voice way more, and I'm understanding it more every time I'm on stage. But to your point about like the goofy thing, I wouldn't actually say it's goofy. I would say it was bitty. It was, you were very much like this kind of showman. You were like, how's about that, Susan? Blah, blah, blah. And you're not like that. But whereas I've noticed what you said when I get away with stuff, and it's because I'm goofy. But I'm not like going on stage being goofy like, so what's the deal with fucking...
No.
But I'm goofy in the sense that I'm a little bit like cheeky, and I'm like kind of, I've been thinking about this thing and it's kind of stupid, but this is true.
No, yeah,
and that's how I talk to you. I'll be like, dude, but you see a little bit though that is, you know?
I don't think you're goofy. I think you're like, you're aware on stage. Like you'll be like, look, I'm about to say this thing that's it's really fucked up. Like it's, you know, I'm talking about, you know, fucked up stuff, but I know it's fucked up. I know you don't have to tell me because I already know that it's fucked up.
Yeah.
But that's how you talk.
Yeah.
If you were gonna do something, if it was just me and you chilling outside, you would say that. You'd be like, look, I want to fuck a kid, but I don't really want to fuck a kid. Like, which is he did say that to me earlier. But I'm saying, but that's what you do that well. And I actually experimented with that before. I remember I headlined the show before, and not on purpose.
Like in Nan's Garden or like...
Yeah, it was it was an open mic. Yeah, it was a headline. So open mic was 7 people.
The other comics didn't turn up. Or
Yeah. No, it was a good room, and I went in there, and I didn't even mean to do it, but for whatever reason, I had a different energy about me that day, and I kind of did what you did. I'll be like, and look, you know, who doesn't love sucking tits? I love sucking tits. I know you do. I don't know. Don't fucking shoot a messenger. And I did that. And I fucking murdered.
Yeah, dude.
And I was like, that's sick. Yeah. that's the thing. But it doesn't.
Were you conscious of it when you were doing it?
No.
Right.
I didn't even mean to. And I don't know if it's, I can't remember why I did it, but maybe I started off on a weird foot and I kind of had to like pull it back like that. But that was probably one of the better sets I'd had. And I had loads of people come up to me after and they were like, oh, you're amazing. Let me suck it. That was great. Whatever. That didn't happen. But people were like really complimentary to set after. And I was like, oh, fuck. Maybe that's what I need to do. But that isn't how I talk again. Like that's me playing a character again.
It's just.
But is that a problem though? Like I want to get to a point where I'm on stage and I can just talk how I talk, because otherwise it's exhausting.
I agree, and then do that.
Yeah.
So I would just do that, and again, I don't have all the.
But people don't like how I talk.
Yeah, but you have to make them like how you talk.
Yeah,
Look
that's
at
true.
like that's how I felt. Like I felt that for ages, dude. And again, I'm fucking barely ahead of you. It's not like I'm fucking killing it and whatever. But for like, I just feel like I had the same thing where I feel like, oh, people don't like me. I would have cool premises, but they weren't fleshed out the right way, or I feel like the audience wasn't liking them. And I was like, okay, I know, like my main killer bit, the really edgy bit that everyone talks about, you know, the bit I'm talking about.
Yeah. Which again, by the way, if I said that bit, I would be fucking arrested. I would. I don't know how he does it. I remember he did it the first time I saw him do it. He told me about it, and I was like, I want to watch it, so let's just do it, and I'll watch it. And he came outside. He's like, so I was like, yeah, that's fucking unbelievable bit. How the fuck do you get away with that? And you did it in front. You did it in like a woman's comedy night, a ladies' night. And he rang me the next day. I was like, how did that bit go? Because I was like, a little small part of me was like, yeah, I hope it fucking bombs. Yeah. You know, like just this little small part of me was just hating. Yeah. And he's like, oh no, because it's like it's a ladies' night. It's quite like progressive, which is whatever. That's sick. But I was expecting them to be like, you can't say that. Yeah. And you were like, oh, bro, it crushed. And I was like, oh, fucking gonna kill myself. Do it. Do it. That's the name of the pod. That's the name of my solo pod.
Yeah. One episode. It's just a stool. It's just a shot of a stool. It's a 4-minute episode.
This is my goodbye, my final goodbyes. So funny.
I think.
Fuck, man.
But the thing with that bit is that when I wrote that bit, like, well, I don't really write, but when I came up with it, it was like a year and a half ago, and I knew that was a true thing. It happened, and I was like, oh, that's funny as fuck. And I took it to stage and it just bombed and bombed and bombed. And I was like, why? And I just stopped doing it. And I was like, why is this? This is so funny to me. This is hilarious to me. I know this is funny. And then I just dropped it. And then, you know, maybe 6 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, maybe, partly obviously I was better at comedy, so that helped because you can make the bit better. But I re-looked at it and I was like, look, let me re-examine it. And obviously because of how I write, I don't write, I just riff on stage. So I'll like take a bit, I'll know roughly what the outline is and where it's going, and then I'll just kind of talk it out and shit the words out, and eventually like funny bits will appear and I'll just shave off the edges. And it takes longer to make a bit work like that, but once you make it work, it's never stale because, or it takes way longer for it to get stale because it's just like chatting or whatever, and it feels conversational. But that bit, it would never work, and I realized why it wasn't working because of how I was presenting myself and how I was framing it. And I was like, I know the concept is funny. And women used to, when I did that joke in the beginning, they used to hate it. I used to get the death stares.
I can imagine, yeah.
Just daggers.
I can imagine.
And I remember I was like, oh, well, of course they're not going to like this fucking joke or whatever. But that almost feels like a cop-out to me.
It does, yeah.
Because I'm like, if some feminist in the front row doesn't like my joke, there will always be some maybe that won't. But generally, I can't be like, well, if a woman didn't laugh, it's because she was a feminist or whatever. And it's not there's anything fucking wrong with being a feminist. But my point is that like, if there's people that don't like your joke and you have a kind of disposed idea in your head of like they're not going to like it because of whatever, then you lazily cut off the ability to make it appeal to that audience. And so
it's got to be undeniable.
It has to be undeniable.
A great joke is undeniable.
Yeah. And so there will always be like 5-10% of people that won't have it, that might not like certain jokes, and that's fine. That is what it is. But when you're hitting like an 80 to 90% success rate, where generally that amount of people are liking it, that's when I think you've hit it. And I think with that joke, I reframed, okay, why wouldn't they like it like that? How can I still tell it in a way that it's basically still true, but will come across a completely different way? And I think the difference is that when I did it the last time, not the last time, but like when I started with that bit, like a year and a half ago, I was coming off like arrogant and like whatever. And when I did it this time, I was like, look, this is kind of fucked up, but I'm going to be honest, but this is true. This did happen. And it's kind of mad on me. I'm also with you. And I think agreeing with them helped as well.
You're also like making yourself vulnerable with how you're positioning it, right?
For sure.
You're kind of like, look, I like you almost come across like it fucking troubled you, which I'm sure it didn't really.
But that's the thing. That's the one thing that bothers me about that bit, which is that for me to get it to work, I had to, like you said, I had to make myself vulnerable, and I had to take it to a place where I'm as uncomfortable as the audience. When in reality, I wasn't uncomfortable at all.
Oh, of course you wasn't.
But that's the one thing that annoys me about the bit, where I'm like, yeah, but that bit's not true because I wasn't uncomfortable. But you know what it is? It's like the message is true, the point is true, the joke is true. If I have to reframe a little bit about how I felt about it to make it work, then that's okay.
But I'm also pretty confident in the fact that, like, you know, once we're like really good comics, there's probably a way where you can
do that and still get away.
Do that and get away with it.
I'm just not good enough to do that.
Yeah. And I'm, it's the same with a lot of my jokes that we're saying don't work. I'm sure there's a way in the future where I can tweak and rewrite or just deliver them differently where no one will have a problem with them. The fact is, like, I think when you're a comic at our level, it's like a weird level because it's like you're nowhere near a pro comic.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can be a pro comic who does a few paid gigs, but I mean like a pro comic who's like established. But you're also like, you're fairly far from like a novice in the sense that like we go on stage and we feel pretty comfortable up there now. So it's this weird thing of like, it's almost like if you was like a boxer and you'd had like 400 fights, but you still got punched up every time you had a fight. Because it's like you're going in there, you're not nervous because you've done it a million times, but you never win. Like you rarely win.
Yeah.
So it's like a weird space to be in.
But see, I'm not having that thing where I rarely win. I'm having the thing where I'd say my hit rate of a good show to a bad show is probably 70 to 75% good.
Yeah.
I'd say 20 to 25, 30, 25 to 30% bad, I would say.
Yeah, same.
On average. Same.
Just the flip reverse.
Just the reverse. Yeah.
I have a good show 30% of the time.
Yeah.
No, but okay. Regardless of that, even if you're saying you have good shows, it's a weird position to be in because it's like we dive deep into a lot of stuff. Like especially me and you, we're kind of nerds for comedy. We're like, oh yeah, like how can we get better? How can we do this? What about this bit? And it's like the actual reality of it is that we're just not that fucking good yet.
Yeah.
And you just need to put in your 10,000 hours to be good enough.
Yeah,
so it's
100%.
like, and it's not to say that we shouldn't be diving into it, because we should, because that's the whole point. That's how you get good.
Yeah.
But a lot of these conversations are at times just redundant, innit? Because it's like, you just need to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You just need to keep doing it and get better, and eventually it will be second nature, and you won't have to spend so long working on bits and working on delivery, because you'll just have it.
Yeah. I think that's also the hard thing about comedy, which is that you can't get your 10,000 hours by sheer force of will. Like, you know, the other day, oh, dude, we should talk about this actually. So the other day, I watched Whiplash.
Yeah, the drama.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
I haven't seen it in a while, but it's the drummer movie, right?
Masterpiece.
Yeah.
Oh, absolute masterpiece. And as an artist, it was so inspiring to just watch like a film that had that level of dedication, that level of like artistic integrity as well, that level of like obsession for the craft.
He breaks up with a bird, isn't it?
Yeah. And also not wanting to, he wasn't in it to be fucking just, I don't know, a millionaire. He was in it because he wanted to be like fucking the best.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but it always kept me guessing. Every time I thought I had the film figured out of where it was going to go, it just spun, and it happened like, and it wasn't like twisty, but
It's not M. Night Shyamalan.
It's not an M. Night Shyamalan movie, but it was still like, oh, that was
like,
a really well made.
He's trying to be a drummer, and then it just turns into him like murdering his mum or something. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it is a great film.
I never saw that coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good, and
he becomes a guitarist at the end.
that would be that's a twist. He was a guitarist all along.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was amazing, and I found it so inspiring. And there's a part in the movie where he basically, again, this isn't a spoiler, but he needs to like practice harder. And so he's in this apartment, and there's like a drum room or whatever, and he basically takes his mattress and his pillow and his blanket, and he just grabs his sticks and just carries the duvet like down into the drum room, and then just puts the mattress on the floor next to the drum kit so that he can literally just fucking drum, fall asleep, wake up, drum. And I thought that was so cool. And I watched it with another comic, George, and we were talking about it afterwards, and I was like, dude, how can we do that? What's the equivalent for us of, because he said, I think at one point, what's his name? Oh God, I'm going to fuck his name up. Parker, the jazz guy, the famous jazz guy, Buddy Parker?
I don't know.
I feel like that's wrong. It's not Buddy Parker. Someone watching this will be like, it's this guy. Charlie Parker.
Okay.
Charlie Parker. He said Charlie Parker, apparently at one point at least, he was practicing 16 hours a day on the trumpet. And I don't know if that was every day, but I think at least every day he was playing like 10 hours a day. And I said to him, I was like, how could we do that for comedy? And he was kind of like, well, you can't, because we can't.
You have to. I've said this from
stage.
day one. If you wanted, if anyone out, if I turned around tomorrow and was like, I want to be an amazing piano player, I could lock myself in a room for 24 hours a day, and I could play piano for 24 hours a day. And within a year, I would have X amount of hours doing that. We only have a limited supply of gigs.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess you write more, but you still need to go and fucking.
But see, this is the other thing though, because
you still need to go and test it.
So he said, he was like, well, look, you could write for X amount of time a day, and I was like, yeah, but I don't write. And that's not like a laziness thing. That's like a thing of
It's just
like,
how you get.
That's just my style. Like Louis, I was watching an interview with Louis, and he said the same thing. Louis was like, because Rogan asked him, he was like, you know, what's your writing process? Do you write? And he was like, nah, I don't. I've never done that. I've never had that. He's like, to me, it's like it doesn't work for me. He's like, a bit will just, it's annoying, but a bit will just come to me when it comes to me, and I have to work it out on stage. I have to just talk about it, flesh it out. And
could you riff at home now? I mean, I know it doesn't work the same, but could you just speak out a premise to yourself?
Yeah, I could.
But then you don't have the feedback.
You don't have the feedback. Also, yeah, Patrice did the same thing. He didn't write either. Everyone always said in the documentary about him, they were like, I never saw him with a piece of paper or a pen or anything.
To be fair though,
I have a notebook and I write down maybe a couple of bullet points that I don't want to forget.
Yeah.
Because you know sometimes you'll have like towel cricket on your phone and you'll be like, I have no idea what that was. That was a bit that I thought of and I can't even tell you what that could have been. So I have like, I've got like
semen face. What was that? What was that?
Exactly.
That was good, I think.
Yeah. And I used to write in my phone in my notes, and then I got a notebook which is for jokes, and that's been really helpful. So I'll just write like a couple of key points just so I don't forget the points.
Yeah.
But that's not to memorize. That's just, you know, if the bit is fucking, what did I say, towel cricket, I'll be like, okay, when you're playing cricket, you need to use a towel gets stuck on the ball, whatever. I'll just write 2 or 3 things. I'm like, okay, just so I remember what the bit is, and then I'll flesh it out on stage my own way. But we can't do that. And so just to really quickly, so what I said to George was, I was like, well, so if it's not writing for X amount of hours a day and we can't do stand up for hours and hours a day, what is our equivalent of like, how can we meet that level of obsession for the craft to make it? And he made a really interesting point. He was like, I think our equivalent is just living in a comedic state of mind, which I thought was really cool. He was like, I was like, expand on that. And he was like, well, you should just be waking up and as much as possible in all of your days, be thinking funny. Just be thinking, how could this be funny? Is that funny? Could that be funny? Thinking, being alone with your thoughts. He's like just going for a walk or at a cafe or having a cigarette, whatever, just being with your thoughts. Yeah, exactly.
Do it.
Yeah, for you, that's going to be tough. Yeah, because you're going to have to be alone with the monsters. But, but for me...
I'm actually okay, guys. Don't worry. This is all,
But for the audio listeners, I just shook my head. But the idea of just walking around and it's true because he lives like that. He's constantly just thinking that's funny. How could that be funny?
Just quickly, sorry to cut you, but I feel like I live like that. Maybe not to the same extent, but my whole existence is just like, that's funny. This could be funny. That's a funny for. Oh, I love that thing. That was funny. Like I guess I'm not linking it to stand up, but I'm constantly just trying to laugh. That's how I live.
But also, I think. Do you know what I think for you? And I'm not saying this is necessarily the case for everyone, because I understand that some people make it work. But I think for you, and I wasn't even the one that originally made this argument, George did when we were all together. But I think it's that you're too stable, weirdly. And I know to you, you're like, well, I'm not stable. Like I don't have much money and I'm still figuring out and I'm stressed about this and that. But I think because you've got a busy life, that maybe hinders slightly your ability to be thinking about comedy. Because there's been times where I've been like, yo, this comedy thing, you're like, oh man, I can't think about that. I've got to go and do this thing tomorrow and I've got to worry about that. So maybe it's a case where your other life or your real life or whatever gets in the way. Gets in the way.
But there are other comics that have more important jobs.
But that's exactly why I just said that might not be the case. And it's not the case for some people. Like, what's his name? Little Josh. He's a fucking software engineer, for example. He works a full-time job.
Crazy.
It is crazy. But Jimmy Carr worked in advertising
so what's what can I do then?
I guess just
I can't
quit.
I can't quit. Yeah. To me, do you know what?
No, I don't.
No, it's over. No, but okay, so just quickly on that as well, because I think what you've just said is really interesting. What I think I'm gonna, because I think you'll agree with me on this. I think my probably strongest like ability in comedy is not being fun. No, my strongest ability,
bombing,
is probably but genuinely, my strongest thing is probably like quick wit, like reflex.
100%.
It's like a reflex.
You have that in a way that I don't, and I'm so envious of it. It's so impressive how quickly you.
I have like it's like a comedic reflex.
100%.
It's like the more I think about stuff, the less funny I make them. Almost, right?
Yeah.
So what you just said was really interesting. I think what I might actually just try and do is have a premise, have an idea, even just riff it at home, record the riff, listen to it back. Anything that I think popped up that's funny, jot on a bullet point like you do, and then just take that to stage.
Yeah, I think even...
Because then that eliminates the thing of like, oh, well, I can only gig 4 times a week or something. Because I do have a job. It is hard for me to gig as much. I am trying to gig as much as possible. I need to gig more. But there are going to be times where it's like, I need to be up really early and that gig's fucking miles away and I can't double up that day or whatever. So I think that would kind of allow me to riff and get things out. Because I think, again, what I need to do is I need to find a way to get that comedic reflex just on stage.
Yeah, I think I have 2 thoughts on that. I think the first thing is for the riffing thing, I actually think instead of needing to like riff out loud at home or whatever, I think it's just if you have an idea where you're like, oh, that's a bit, that could be funny. Just like you said, do what I do, just write down 1 or 2 tiny things, just enough so that you don't forget. And then just go completely cold into stage.
Whenever I do that, I don't know. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Of course, it's not going to work. It didn't work when I first started doing it because you will bomb because you have to learn how to flesh it up. But once you do it, it's just like a muscle. In the same way that like I can do that now and you can't do it. I can't do the zingery muscle. You can do it because I haven't really been a zingery comedian. It's just a muscle. But I think for your style particularly, like you said, oftentimes the more you write something, the less funny it becomes. You're really funny on the spot. You're mad funny when you're just spontaneous. Like the amount of lines you probably had in the first 3 of these episodes, you probably had way more fucking lines than me that have got like a laugh off me than I have off you, because you're just really quick with like bam, bam, bam lines. But I think if you have that on stage and you take the thought out of it, you just go, something happens and you go, oh, that could be a bit. And then you just write down fucking grasshopper cloud, and then you go, okay, yeah, when a grasshopper's on a cloud and the cloud does this, okay, cool. I remember what that bit is, and then just go on stage and be like, dude, I saw this fucking grasshopper. You wouldn't say dude, but you know just how you do.
And
I saw this fucking grasshopper.
So the idea there is that I record that set, listen to it back, and go, oh, there's 3 punchlines there that I just thought of on the spot.
That's why everyone's like, oh, like everyone. Sometimes people take the piss because I record every gig, but I record every gig because like every fucking NBA player or whatever, they watch the game tape, and I watch every fucking gig I do, and there's been so many times where I've been.
Why do you film them and not voice record them? I've noticed you do that.
Yeah, because when I film it, I can see how I was standing. I can see how I looked. I can see if I made a face like that. I can see if I pointed a certain way. I can just get more. It's more data.
Yeah, I suppose
it's just more
that is
data.
True, actually, I hadn't really thought of that way.
Because when like, how many times is it where you have a voice recording and then you say something and it gets a laugh, and then there'll be like maybe a little hint and it'll get a bigger laugh, and you're like, I have no idea why that got a laugh. Did I look at someone, or was it someone in the crowd who made a face to me? But I can see everything when I film it. And there's the amount of times where I'll just go and riff on something. Dude, do you remember that line the other day? When I said,
I know what you're talking about.
When I said, oh, my girl's posh, and I know she's posh because she says she's not posh.
We only have.
And then I said, yeah, and I said, I know she's posh because she said, no, babe, we really aren't rich. We only have. And I said, I'm gonna stop you right there. Whenever someone says they have bare shit. And that got a massive laugh. Yeah, and you and someone else, I think it was Jovan, both came up to me after the gig and were like, that fucking only have shit is funny. And then I said, like, what was it? When they only have, they had bare shit. I was poor, I grew up poor, and I am poor, so I have to say we had. Yeah. And you both put me up on that line. That line was just on the spot. Yeah. And if I hadn't filmed that set, I would have forgotten that I added that line in. And that line now has formed how that joke goes. So it's just the more you fucking do it, the more data you get.
So I just need to go on stage with premises, basically.
But also, fuck me, I could be wrong, But that's what as someone who knows you and your style, and also knows what's worked for me, that's what I think. But again, I could be completely wrong.
But so my only thing with that as well is, and I'm definitely going to try that, because what have I got to lose?
Yeah. Not much, right?
Not much, yeah.
Not much.
Oh no, what, you mean I can't bomb 5 times a week again? No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to cut you off, but I wanted to make the second point I was going to make.
Oh no, sorry, no, go, yeah.
The second thing was, and I know this is difficult, but I think the point you made about gigging, when you're like, oh, because I only really can gig 4 times a week, I think you're going to have to figure out a way around that, because I think that is just going to be something that holds you back.
I can't book them though.
Yeah, but booking them is a separate issue, because we can talk about how you can get booked for more shit. But I mean, in general, if you had the ability to get booked 7 nights a week, you should be gigging 7 nights a week.
Oh, I would. I just mean in the sense that it is obviously difficult for me because I have other shit going on.
But that's what I said before about how you have to, I guess you might, and this is the thing, it sounds like a weird thing to say, because it's like, obviously you have responsibilities and that's a good thing, but it's difficult because objectively we both know that if me and you were in the same place and I'm gigging 8 times a week, and you're gigging 4 times a week, in a year we'll be in vastly different places.
Yeah, of course.
And so it might be a thing where you might have to figure out a way to do it less, the other stuff, to be able to do this more. Because you don't want to get to a point where you're shooting yourself in the foot, where you're not putting effort into the work.
So you're half-assing both things.
You're half-assing both things. So in a year, you're not like doubling down on the work stuff, so you're not rich from the work stuff, but you're also not gigging enough with comedy, so you haven't made anything in comedy, so you're kind of just like middling with 2 things.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it.
That's why
life is so stressful.
It is stressful, but that's why I shut down the fucking. That's why I shut down the fucking agency that I was running. Partly because it wasn't making any fucking.
Life is fucking tough, though, isn't it? Like,
it's so tough
when you're trying to do something with your life. This is why I completely get the people that are just bums and they just lay at home and they smoke weed and they just play fucking the new FIFA or whatever. Like that's a fucking and it's it's that there's a quote where it's like, pick your heart. Like, you can have live an easy life now and be depressed when you're older, but. Fuck, man, it's tough. It's
so
tough
hard
to make it work, man.
I get so depressed sometimes. Like, it's not all fucking fine and dandy. I get super fucking depressed. But I then, I think, funnily enough,
Gay?
I think, what a fucking loser.
Am I right? I just literally, the whole episode is about me hating myself. I'm like, this guy's a fucking sad guy.
I show 1 minute vulnerability. I'm like, you know, man, I struggle too. What a fucking loser.
So funny.
But I think the thing is, I said this to someone the other day, but I think the thing is that I get super depressed sometimes, but I also, if I have a day where I don't gig, something is off. Like I'm a bit restless or whatever. Unless like, you know, if I'm spending like a nice day with my girl or something like that makes it easier. But if in general, if I'm not gigging, I'm like, what was the whole day about then? What was the whole point of the day?
Yeah,
Unless if I deliberately
mentality.
take time off my day to like spend time with my girl or go see a friend or whatever, like, but I've allocated that time for that reason, that's different. But if I'm just like, oh, it's a Tuesday and I'm not gigging and I haven't tried to get a gig and I'm just existing, I just wake up and go through my day and then go to sleep. I'm like, what the fuck was the point of that day? I didn't gig. And I think that element is like, dude, I'm fucking legitimately thinking about doing the whole van life thing and moving into a van. I know we were talking about that the other day.
You fit the bill.
I know. I look like it, don't I?
Like you look like you shit in a bucket and throw it out the window.
100% do. Yeah.
I'm surprised you use plumbing. Like
I
you
look
do
like a
look
dirty
like
hippie.
you look like a guy who shits in a bucket and then just goes, "Oh, sorry, mate," and just throws it out the window. That's
It's
what you look like.
compostable.
Yeah. You do. If you become one of those guys,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can have you in my house anymore. Are you going to be showering regularly?
Yeah.
Where are you going to shower? Not in like fucking leisure centers and shit.
Well, either that or some of them have showers.
You can do the built-in showers.
You can
and
do the
stuff. I've
built-in
seen
showers,
that,
but that can really rack up the price. So I don't know because I don't have fucking loads of money or anything. So I need to figure out a way. I can't do this.
You can shower
immediately.
here once a week.
Well,
There's parking
cheers.
outside.
That's true. There's parking outside once a week.
You can shower here once a week. Yeah,
but,
when you do the pod.
But yeah, exactly. Do the pod for a shower. But again,
try and leave the pod now, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. But again, that's the kind of thing where I'm like, I want as much of my time and energy to be into comedy stuff as possible, whether it's the pod or whether it's gigs. Like that's what I want. And to be honest, man, the van life thing is a separate thing. It's more just like the rent thing has just become so. I feel like there's no incentive to play the game anymore.
No,
I feel like
you also do. You do fit the van life, like just your philosophy and shit.
Yeah.
On life, and so do I, man. But I just fucking I don't know. It's just life hasn't panned out that way. But we both have had these conversations where it's like, just give me a bed and a fucking purpose, and I'll be okay.
Yeah, if I can get by, like I can really get by on fuck all.
Yeah, a bed, a Wi-Fi, a bed, Wi-Fi, matching socks.
Yeah.
Even numbered food.
Yeah, exactly.
We're good.
And then I'm good, and then I can just do comedy. But yeah, I don't know. I was saying this to you the other day, but I think the incentive isn't there anymore. I think the incentive used to be that, you know, okay, you work a 9 to 5 in this office and you go to this company for X many years and, you know, you be a good boy. And if you do that, then you'll get a house and you can put a roof over your kids' heads and blah, 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 blah. But now it's like, none of us are going to be able to afford to buy a house unless, you know, we have unless you're either super wealthy working in like tech or banking, which is a small percentage of the population, which neither of us are, or if we're lucky enough that we make it in comedy to a point where through fucking ticket sales and stuff like a Patreon or whatever, we manage to get enough money to buy a house that way. But most people, and especially right now, including us, are not going to be able to afford a fucking house. And so now I think a lot of people, because it's easy to laugh at the van thing, because I laughed at it when I first heard it. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, what, you're living in fucking a car? This is insane.
Yeah.
But then, like, the more I looked at it, I was like, well, if it's a choice between that, like, my mate is paying, him and his mate that they live together, they pay £2,600 a month.
Yeah, it's insane.
And that's not to live in, like, you know, Mayfair or St. John's Wood or Notting Hill. Like, it's not like, to live in a sexy area. Like, to live somewhere like further east or further north, like not super central, and they're paying 2.6K a month for a 2-bed flat. It's like, it's so ludicrous now that it's like, the incentive isn't there anymore. It's not like, but you can now you can't get anything, but you're still having to do the same thing and work the same stuff.
And you can't save up anyway because you're paying your fucking arsehole in rent.
Yeah. And then also on top of that, wages haven't increased with everything else. So now it's like you're just not earning much more money, but everything else is also much more expensive. And so it's just, the incentive is gone. So I'm like, well, I can either here are the 3 options the way that I see it. I can either pay, 4 options. Option 1 is I can stay at home, which I don't want to do because I'm be 30 in a month. I don't want to be living at home in my 30s.
Yeah.
So Option 1, stay at home, which is not an option. Option 2, I can find a friend to live with and move into like a 2-bed flat, like a lot of my friends do, and pay probably like between 1.1 to 1.3K a month, which means I'll need to get a full-time job because there's no way I could even afford that, like not even close. Option 3 is I can find somewhere cheaper where I'm paying £700-800 a month, but then I'm going to have to live with like 4 or 5 people to be able to manage that.
Strangers, potentially. As well.
Potentially strangers, and that's going to be a whole like deal within itself. Or option 4 is I can find a way to get like, I don't know, probably 5-ish grand on the really low end, probably maybe closer to 10 grand on the high end, but it doesn't have to be all at once. I could take a loan, whatever, to basically get a place where I have my own space. I have my own bed. I have my own, hopefully, like little bathroom area, whatever. I have my own little kitchen. And it's tight, but like all I need, like I said, is a bed, a place to sit down, use my laptop, and get me from place to place. I love driving anyway. And I can do all of that for maybe like 300 quid a month, 300-400 max. And also I'm not like tethered to anything. I can park, I can go places, I can park somewhere else. Gigs is amazing. If I do a gig and it's late, I can just fucking park up somewhere in the area. I don't have to worry about getting home or driving home.
Gig all over the country.
Gig all over the country. It's good for gigging out of London. So, but also for me, it's the idea of like, I can actually, when I think about what my priorities are, and I think everyone has different priorities, and I have friends who this wouldn't work for, but I think for me, my priorities aren't nice restaurants or like nights out or like fancy clothing or whatever. My priorities are how can I have as little ownership over me as possible and spend as much time doing things that make me happy and fulfilled as possible. And so for me, it's like, okay, I want to do comedy, I want to do the podcast, and that's what I want to do. Okay, everything else is just super irrelevant. So what do I need for that? I need to fucking have a room in terms of like a bed, and I need to have a toilet, and I need to have a chair or a mini sofa area. So I need a mini couch, a bed, and a toilet, and a little stovey area. That's it.
Yeah.
And to some people that's a fucking nightmare. I'd rather pay $1,400.
No, but it's like you said,
and fair play. But for me, I don't need anything more than that.
Yeah. Option 5. Do it.
Do it.
Fucking easiest one of them all. No, bro.
Option 5, just fucking sack up and do it. Buy a rope and do it.
If my mum watches this, she is gonna fucking.
She's gonna call some Aaron.
She's gonna section me.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll be like, I used to have a podcast. Like, I bet you did, son. Take these pills.
I used to do comedy with a Messiah.
Sure you did. Yeah. Was he Messiah? Was he? Take the blue one first. Was he a Messiah?
Free accommodation. Option 6.
Yeah, exactly.
Who says we didn't have a lot of options? No, I completely agree with you. And I said this to you the other day. Like, I've worked in like some fairly corporate jobs and stuff. And the higher up people in the company, like, you know, when you're young and you're impressionable, you go to these places and they're like, look at, you know, Jeffrey, he's really doing well. He's running his subsection of the company, and he just bought a house. You know, he just put a mortgage on a house, and he's only 33, and he's worked pretty hard. And it's like he just bought a Ferrari. He just bought a secondhand Ferrari, and it's like, yeah, that's sick. But he's worked 12 hours every day, Saturdays included, for 10 years, and he just scraped the house together. Which, again, no judgment. Like, I'm not even close to that. I couldn't even dream of doing that, but I said it to you the other day. I'd rather be all or nothing. Like, I'd either want to make good money from something that I'm really passionate about, or I'll go and work on a farm in fucking Vietnam. Like, genuinely, I would rather live somewhere that's like beautiful and the quality of life is really high.
Like Thailand or something.
Yeah, and essentially be poor, because in terms of like, you know, global scale, the money I'll be making is nothing. But I'd rather live in like a really nice, small, comfortable apartment right next to a beach, do like manual labor so I'm not like super overstimulated, and I can just listen to my fucking podcast to drown out the voices, and I can fucking smoke a bit of weed now and then. I can hit the beach, and I can go to the gym, and I can like drive a moped around in the sun. I would much rather that than be Jeffrey and work 12 hours a day for 10 years to buy a flat in fucking central London. That has no appeal to me. Yeah. I either want it all and I want to be successful in something I really care about, or I want to fucking, you know, just put me on a farm. Yeah. And I'll fucking lift hay.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like, again, it's important to clarify, there is no right or wrong answer.
No.
People that are on that path, that works.
I wish I could do that, because again, the things that we're talking about are like probably the path of. But
they're the path of existential dread,
and that is the path of least resistance almost.
Yeah.
Because it's like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not hard. It's very hard to do that, because you have to have a lot of determination and discipline, and you have to work
a lot of
hard.
resilience just to grind out
Resilience,
every
yeah,
day.
because it's a fucking grind. But that is like the standard path, I guess.
But I do think, though, I will say, I think
I should do it.
Yeah. We have to call this podcast.
No, that's my solo pod, and it's going to have one episode. But this episode is called Do It.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Go on, carry on.
But I do think a lot more people would be happier if they just let go. And I think, not to make it all fucking 1999, Fight Club aesthetic vibe of like, hey, we're all just consumers and we gotta let go and fucking break out of the rat race.
Such that guy.
Do you know what I mean? No. Well, I am in terms of my philosophy, but I don't want to be that guy in terms of like, because fuck that guy. I don't want to be the guy. And it's worse because I've got long hair.
No, fuck that guy, but you're that guy.
Fuck me, right?
No, but your look is that guy.
It so is.
Yeah.
But also it's like, fuck it, you can't fight who you are. But I just think, I just think that. I just think that you should figure out what's important to you, and whatever that is, orient everything towards that. Yeah. And I'm not. And by the way, I want to clarify. I'm not saying this in some vague motivational fucking speech way of like, hey, you just got to find what makes you happy and follow your dreams, man. I'm just saying. Not even like finding a passion or figuring out what you want to do with your life. I'm just saying figure out like values wise, I guess.
Yeah.
What matters. Yeah. And then orient based on that, because I think so much fucking stress comes from
the unknown, the discovery,
well, yeah, but also I was going to say the opposite. I was going to say so much stress comes from having all this bullshit to maintain, like clinging on to like rent and bills and keeping up appearances and paying this and holding down a job for that and looking for promotion for that and this boss with that. And don't get me wrong, there's all this bullshit on the other side too. But
like being broke,
broke and wanting to rope,
Yeah.
But and wanting to do it. But there's also just an element of it is freer and it feels a bit less heavy.
Well, I
for me and my personality, not putting that on anyone else.
Yeah, no, 100%. And by the way, I don't even think we need to like mention this, because I don't think anyone's looking at me and you and going,
let's get advice off.
That's who we should be listening to. Yeah, those guys in front of the green screen, they're fucking clearly fucking idiots. Yeah. But I think I can't remember if I did like CBT for a little while. On the NHS because I'm poor, and
I did the same.
Yeah, and it wasn't helpful. And do it. No, the lady that I spoke
therapist
to,
just said do it.
Yeah.
You get on, you're like, I'm really depressed. And you're like, are you Ashley? Yeah, you should do it.
We've got really like low resources at the minute. We have no time for you. Just fucking.
Just fucking do it. That's gonna be by the way, I can tell that's gonna be a recurring like meme on the pod.
Yeah.
Like if we're ever like reviewing something and we're like someone did a really shitty thing, we're like, oh yeah, apparently this guy like kidnapped a bunch of people. Well, he should do it. Obviously he should do it.
First t-shirt.
First t-shirt.
Do it. Yes, we're fucking cooking now.
We're casting, baby.
We are definitely gonna get sued though by someone's mum. Like, you told him to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
These are.
Oh, that's sweet. What does your t-shirt say, honey?
Yeah.
Oh, it says do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah,
just do it.
Like just do it, but a rope instead of a lactic. Oh, that's actually genius. That's fucking sick. Okay,
that's funny.
Merch coming soon.
No,
but I remember the lady told me like write down different aspects of your life, like, and this was actually the only helpful thing that I got from it, but it was actually really helpful. It was like money, like finances, family.
Sorry, did you just try to translate what money means to me? Did you just say, like, money, that means finances?
No, but I was saying, like, in a
you
broad...
fucking peasant. Who the fuck do you think you are? Fucking telling me, you fucking cunt.
No, you don't get it, innit? You ain't got none of it. Money is fine.
I do have less of it than you. Yeah. But it's
not by
so
much
funny.
either. Not as much as we're making out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so broke, dude. I'm serious. I'm so poor.
Overdraft.
Okay.
No, okay, but I mean in terms of like broad like finances, in terms of like, savings and investment, whatever. So just finances, family, social life, physical health, mental health, and then there was like a couple of other things that I can't remember because it didn't work. And yeah, and I remember she was like, grade all of those things on a scale of like 1 to 10 in terms of importance to you. I was like, okay, like finances, like whatever, like 5, like you need them, but I'm not like a guy who needs to be rich right now. Family, 2. No, I put that pretty high. And because I wanted to seem like a good person. Oh, family, 10 out of 10. Yeah, definitely.
If you put 1, you know she's going to hit the button and send you away.
Just in case my mum found it in my trouser pocket. She's like, what?
It's like that fucking, it's like that Louis bit where he says, when you have a meeting with a psychiatrist and they're like, do you ever have suicidal thoughts? And you're like, well, yeah, but obviously I'm not going to say it now. Because if I say yes, you're going to hit the button and 2 guys in coats are going to come pick me up. So obviously I'm not going to say yes.
Yeah, no, I told her. I told her. But so like, I found that really, really helpful because it was like, I remember I graded family pretty high. I graded finances like middle. I graded like physical health really high because I like being in good shape and it makes me feel good.
You do.
I'm not right now, but you know what I'm saying? It makes me feel good about myself. And then like
gym, tan and laundry.
Yeah, social life was like 5, whatever. And then I think it was like purpose or whatever, and I put that really high. And she was like, okay, so look at that. Like, look what ones you have above 7, and look at the ones you have below that. You need to, try and dictate your life towards making those things that are important the priority, and everything else can take a bit of a back seat.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
No, I'm just thinking of a scenario where you're like you're
see what I mean? I'm trying to fucking be vulnerable.
No, but it's good. But I'm just thinking of a scenario where like you're doing this and and in my head it's just funny because you're doing it in crayon. But you're just like this is happening in like a children's nursery. You're sitting on the floor with your legs splayed, and she's kneeling down, going, "And what you put for this one?" And in my head it's just funny because you said like you put purpose as like 10, and she's like, you put purpose as 10. You're like, yeah, and she's like, but I've seen your comedy. I don't understand.
Oh no! I actually told her I was a stand-up comedian. So.
She's like, yeah, you fuck it up. With sentences like that.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Crayons is too funny, man. Yeah. It's just me just covered in shit, just babbling. Just like, oh my god.
I'm doing a podcast.
I'm doing it with a Messiah.
You're like telling a logistics. You're like, we're gonna have him on next week. Can't have him on this week. We get to talk about.
If you want to sign on a Patreon, like we will get, and we've got merch coming out every. What's the merch? Well, she could just do it with a rope. She's like, okay, yeah. Okay,
we're gonna make millions, miss. We're gonna make millions. You're gonna be in a Patreon, miss. She's like, yeah, I'll be in the Patreon, sure.
Just do it with a rope is insane.
It's great.
Oh my god. But yeah, no. I think,
to your point.
To the point, I think, like to your point and to my point, you have to figure out what you want and what side of your life is important. And it helped me to break it down into sections because it kind of just simplifies it, right?
100%. And dude, I feel like I've noticed recently that the lower down on the social like expectation ladder you fall, the less you kind of care and the less you kind of realize it matters.
Expand on that?
Well, like, so for example, someone who's been really inspiring to me is George, right? This other comic.
Which is sad to hear you say.
I know it's sad.
No, I love George, but it's crazy to hear.
And it is mental.
But he also inspires me.
Yeah.
Which makes me sad.
But George is really inspiring because George is another comic and he's like my best friend and he's like, he lives in hostels.
He's what?
He's like my best friend. Yeah, it's sort of.
Now, to be fair, I've only known you for about 4 months.
Dude, George would have your eye out. If you tried to claim best, if George heard he would go, sorry, what?
No, I know.
What?
Right, but I'm coming. I'm coming.
Yeah.
We've already invaded your country and I'm about to invade your friendships.
Invade the friendships.
Yeah. But George is gonna go full EDL on me now.
He's gonna. Next time he's on Rob's
You've already
podcast,
fucked up our healthcare.
Yeah, exactly. There's too many of you. Get rid of him. But George is really inspiring to me because George, like, he lives in hostels, right? And
which is so funny.
It's hilarious, and he does comedy.
Yeah.
And he's hilarious. But what's interesting is that when he first was like in this situation, I was like, dude, this is insane. How the fuck are you? This is ridiculous. You have to fucking sort your shit out. You have to fucking get a job, figure this out. And he was like, no, I'm fine with it. I'm actually all right. And I was like, no, this is fucking insane. Yeah. And then like I had less and less money, and like my agency was like kind of trickling, and like I had to pay for this, pay for that, and then suddenly it was like I lost that, I lost this, I lost that, and then suddenly I was like, okay, well I'm having to figure out. And by the way, when I say less money, it's not like I was going from like fucking $3,000 a month to fucking whatever. I was going from maybe like scraping by with $1,000 a month to suddenly have to go through less and less and less. So I was having to figure out what to do with less and less and less. And then suddenly I was like, well, actually, don't really need that. I can kind of get by without that. I can still do that. That's a bonus. And the minute you flip the perspective of like, well, what do I care about? Can I still do that? Oh, that's great that I can still do that. And I think from his perspective, everything is relative in the sense that if you've been homeless, for example, for a year, the idea of having a bed every night in a hostel is like you're a king, relatively, in your head, because you're so grateful. And I think that level of gratitude, I think, is really interesting because right now I'm at a point where, because I'm so fucking broke and all I'm doing is comedy, and I'm barely fucking scraping by at all. Like barely. I'm just constantly in my overdraft. I have barely any income coming in. But I'm finding ways just to make it work. And because I can still do this podcast and I can still do stand-up, I'm fine. And I got my girl and she's awesome and that really helps. And I've got good friends and everything. But like I'm at a point now where like, if this was, let's say you were living in this flat by yourself and you had one bedroom and then you had this side room that's the studio, it would be a situation where I would be like, cool, I'll bring a sleeping bag and I'll literally sleep in here. I'll just sleep in this room.
Yeah.
That's
if I was on my own, I'd let you.
Yeah, no, I know you would. But my point, and vice versa. But my point is that that's the level I'm at where I'm like, I wouldn't give a fuck. If anyone asked me like, where are you sleeping? I'd be like, I'm sleeping in a sleeping bag in my friend's fucking podcast studio room.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, yeah. But I wouldn't care because I'd be like, I've got a roof over my head.
Yeah.
And there's something cool about living closer to the hunter-gatherer.
Yeah, I think that's why me and you love like the New York side of comedy as well, because every comic in New York is like
hand to mouth,
broke and living in a shit place with rats running around, and it's like there's something romantic about that.
Or they have trust funds. But,
yeah.
It's
like,
one of the two.
The ones that we like.
Yeah. The funny ones.
The good ones.
Yeah.
But like they all have stories about living in like a shit box with like some guy who doesn't even speak English, and there's rats running around and shit. It's like there is something romantic about being like so dedicated to getting somewhere that you have to go through shit.
Well, it's like musicians. Like I always wanted to be in bands when I was a teenager, and
of course you did.
Yeah, of course I did.
Of course you did.
Because I fucking shred, you know.
That's a cool
But I was completely like obsessed with the idea of just like these 80s bands where you'd read these, you know, autobiographies from like guys from the 80s, and they're like, yeah, we were fucking sleeping in this van, or we were like, you know, we had like a couple of groupies and we would like sleep at their house and we're fucking doing heroin and then we're going to rehearsals and shit. And I'm not advocating doing heroin, but they're like, you know,
sounds like you are, buddy.
They're like fucking eating noodles and fucking whatever. It's that whole thing of just like, we're all fucking dead broke, but as long as we got money for booze and cigarettes and we can go to rehearsals and play our music, we'll fucking figure it out. And
that does sound good.
And I was so in love with that. And the idea of doing that with comedy is equally sick. Like, it's fun. My days are my own. I'm kind of like a bit of a vagabond, and I never know where my day's gonna go. Where I'm
When
gonna
you say
end
a
up.
vagabond?
Vagabond, yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know what that means.
It's kind of like a bit of a.
I thought you said vagabond. But I don't know if we have to cut that. But yeah, go on.
No, we don't.
Okay.
Because we might have to cut that. Though. That's a pussy thing to say. I don't want that to go out for you people thinking you're a massive pussy. But no, I said I was a vagabond. But it's like a kind of
like a renegade.
Yeah, like a bit of a. But all these words sound really lame. But like rebel, rogue, just someone who's like a bit off the beaten path and is just kind of doing his own thing. Like George is a vagabond too. You just like a vagrant a bit. Like you just wake up and you're just around. And you never know where you're gonna come from.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But I like that. It's like that freewheeler spirit of like fucking freedom. You know?
Yeah, but again, I think that ties into the thing of like, you got to make comedy happen.
Yeah.
If you have somewhat of a comfortable life, like even like someone like Josh, for example, like he's a software developer or whatever, software designer. Like he must be making pretty good money.
Yeah.
Doing that. I can't imagine going and bombing in front of 10 people if I had a comfortable like obviously I'm not fucking like I have a decent job, but I'm always struggling financially, and I don't know if it's because of the way I grew up, and it's like I don't know how to handle money. Like I do make like passable income, but I just never have money. So it's like, for me, I'm in the same boat, not to the same extent as you or fucking obviously George, but like, for me, it's like, no, I have to make this work. Like, there isn't another thing that I can do. I'm not looking at anything else and being like, yeah, I'm sweet. It's like, no, I need to make this work. So I feel like there is something to that of just being like, this is it. this is it. All I have is this. This has to happen.
Yeah.
And that's, that is exciting. It's romantic, isn't it? It's
It
like
is.
every film you've ever watched.
Dude.
It's like even like me and you talk about like Conor McGregor when he, like the early days, he was like really inspiring. It was like, he had the same thing really. He worked on a building site as a plumber and he just drove off one day and left. And his dad was like going in, screaming at him like, you're a fucking loser, you're a bum. And it's like, I'm going to make this fucking MMA thing happen. And there's no one who'd ever been a UFC fighter from Ireland before.
From Crumlin, I think he's from.
Yeah, but even from Ireland, there was never a guy in the UFC from Ireland.
Really? So
it's like, he's saying to my mum, I'm going to be a UFC champion. And they're like, what are you talking about?
What is the UFC?
It's and like, there's never been anyone from here that's even been close to that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no Irish millionaires that have fought in MMA. There's no one who's even made a comfortable living from doing MMA from Ireland. So what do you mean? Like, but it's that thing of just like, it's almost like a delusion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, even me and you, like, we have good conversations sometimes about comedy. Even like me and my bird or me and some of my mates, I'm like, I think I can really make this. It's like, it's a delusion. It's like, no, you can't do it. You're an idiot. But it's like, no, I can.
But I heard this great quote.
I love it.
My friend told me this quote once where he was like, I said to him, I can't remember when it was. I was like, I was embarrassed about. I think this was
Your
a while
face,
ago. No, I was embarrassed about.
clothes.
No. I was embarrassed because I was friends with you and you do your comedy. But and people found out, and I was so worried about people finding out I'm friends with Ashley. And
that one actually, can I be honest with you,
Yeah.
my friend? That actually hurt.
Oh, buddy.
No, it didn't. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll get over it.
I think you're hilarious.
No, I know.
I back your corner. If I didn't back your corner,
No, but
as
don't
much
do this
as I
because this
did-
makes it worse. Just move on from
No,
it.
but you're hilarious.
Okay, yeah.
All right?
You sound like my therapist with the crayons all over again. Yeah. Of course you can be a comedian.
No, but I stand by what I've said to you before, and I'll say it to you again. The reason I make so many jokes about your comedy is because I equally go out of my way to remind you how fucking funny I think you are.
No, you do.
And I wouldn't do it if I didn't think you were funny. But anyway, my point is that I think I was doing some sort of like little business idea I had or something. There's some fucking car alarm going off.
Is it yours?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what my car alarm sounds like. Let me see.
surprised your car even has an alarm. Well, stop now. You're not going to know, are you?
No, but I'm seeing if there's anyone like near.
There's a guy like hanging out the back of your car.
It's dark. I can't see anyone. But anyway, the point is, I was doing some sort of business thing or whatever, and I was basically switching to something else. And I said to this guy who was kind of like a mentor to me, I was like, I'm worried about changing my LinkedIn to say this and telling everyone I'm doing this now. I feel like an idiot. I feel like a failure because I was doing this, and they're going to be like, oh, you failed at that. And he was like, they're going to be right until they're not. And I was like, damn, that's deep. And he was like, every project that you start that's like a business or an artistic pursuit, and this guy's like mad, he's like the most successful guy I know. And he was like, any project you start, he's like, I had so many failed businesses before. But he's like, but people just forget that because they see me being successful for this. But he's like, if you remember, I had this that failed, I had this that failed, I had this. So he's like, any project artistically or business-wise, people will think you're crazy and they'll be right every single time until they're wrong.
Yeah.
And when they're wrong, it won't matter anyway.
Yeah. The fool is the precursor to the master.
That is your quote of the week.
Quote of the week on my whiteboard downstairs.
Yeah. Ashley's been writing a little quote of the week. We thought it would be a good idea to get him out of those sort of bad thoughts in his head. So we thought
next week's, do it.
How long have we been going, dude?
Gotta be.
I didn't even hit record on the Zoom, so you know.
You are
But
joking.
I hit record on here, so we're okay. We should be okay. I fucking hope we're okay. We will be okay because we know it's happening.
But it's the audio sync cable.
Yeah,
works,
the cable's
right?
the cable's in. Yeah.
How long are we gonna have on?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I didn't hit the. Yeah, should we just cut it?
I think we should go. If this does pass.
No, it will be. It will be. Don't say that because it will be. It will be. We know the sync cable works. I haven't hit record in the colorblind thing. We know it works. But also, I swear I hit it, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It is fine. I swear to God, it's going to be fine. Let's sign off. It'll be fine. Bye, guys. If you're watching this, it was fine.
That was a pretty emotional episode.
That was a
right?
great episode.
I feel like that was different though.
Yeah, but every episode so far has been a slightly different
Yeah,
one.
that was nice. That was nice.
Well, let's not suck our own dicks too much.
No,
Let's just be
I'm
like,
saying
good.
the camera's off.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not off. It's still on.
No, but I'm saying we're fantastic. We're amazing.
We are great.
No, that was nice, man.
Yeah, sorry, what?
That was
Okay,
merch.
Merch. What?
Just do it, merch.
Just do it, merch.
That's actually a great bit of merch.
And then we just get sued by Nike.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Bye, subscribe please, and rate and all the bullshit. Thank you.